There's a kid in there. Whoa! Look at your hair.
I know, it's crazy.
So as you can see, we are diving into the garden. I think we're all in right now. Looking at the next week's forecast, it's looking pretty warm. If we have to, we'll tarp things. But we're starting to get some of our inside plants moved out, as well as getting a lot of other seeds in the ground. Tomato plants are something that we use pretty heavily, not necessarily for like salads and stuff like that. We do use them on BLTs, but come fall time, we make a lot of pasta sauces and tomato paste and salsas with them. And this year we're gonna up our production a little bit. Last year we had a pretty poor year. I'm thinking we maybe went through about 80 or 90 pounds of tomatoes, and we ran out rather quickly. So this year we got 36 plants in. We'll probably up that even a little bit more here as we figure out getting space for everything else in our garden. But one thing we are doing a little different this year is we're going to be ditching the kind of traditional tomato cages. We end up a lot of times buying these cheaper ones. They're $2 to $3. Every time the wind blows, they go down. We have to stake them with wood stakes. The more expensive ones, you know, you're talking $5 or $6 or more for those, and then you times that by 36 of them. Well, the price adds up pretty quick. We already got T-posts laying around. I spent about $12 on some heavy gauge wire, and we're just going to end up wrapping them around the post here and making supports that way and see how that works out. So here's what we got in so far. We got Brussels potatoes in the very first row, red potatoes, yellow onion, red onion, 3 rows of tomato plants, 12 of them, deep here, several varieties. Back behind that, we got 2 rows of bush beans. The row behind that's going to be broccoli. And then we got a lot of other stuff still to get in, back all kind of behind all that. Stuff like dill and garlic and peas, sugar snap peas. There's a whole variety of other stuff that we still got to get crammed in there. But most of our big space type things are taken up. So what we got here, you can see there's 4 rows going all the way back. It goes back about 80 or 90 feet. And this is all sweet corn. Each row has got probably roughly around 130, 140 seeds that we put in. So we should end up with a little over 500 stalks of corn. So if you look out here, you can see several rows all going across this way. That's, I believe, 7 rows of sunflowers. Half of them are this new variety that we're trying. And then the other half are these ones that I call white, or they're called Russian Giants. We've carried these seeds over several years, I think for the last 3 or 4 years. We really like them out. They're very big. They're similar, like you go to the grocery store and you buy like those Dakotas or the Giants or the Bigs, or there's just these big monster shells that you get off them, make great sunflower seeds. And then if you look back in this back corner, we got I think 3 rows of watermelon back there with 5 watermelon plants going deep. And then back there we got some pumpkins, like jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. And then this back corner back here is all dedicated to that Dill's Atlantic Giant. It sounds like those things are supposed to get pretty big. We've never done them before, but we want to make sure it's got plenty of space. So earlier this spring, we did a bunch of soil sample testing. It became pretty apparent we needed to make some adjustments, mostly in the nitrogen department. We were very abundant in phosphorus and potash. And the way we addressed that this year is we have a neighbor that raises a whole bunch of cattle. He's got a lot of manure sitting over there that's been sitting and composting. He ended up bringing a lot of that over, tilling it into the garden. So far doing the soil sample testing, it's really seemed like it's peaked up the nitrogen levels. So we're hoping that really gets things off to a good start. The other thing too is he had a bunch of horse manure with wood chips and stuff that had been sitting around for several years. It was like black gold. We ended up using that to backfill our tomatoes. So we're hoping that kind of kicks that in the butt. And the way we're going to address things like our corn. Corn uses up a lot of nitrogen. Chicken poop has a lot of nitrogen in it. That's our chicken coop run has always been sort of our compost area in the past before we started building that bin this spring. We're going to probably build some more to up our production in that area. But we're going to end up using a lot of the soil out of that, dumping that in. It's getting pretty full in there. And we did do that last year. We had some pumpkins that were really struggling. I dumped a bunch of that on there, and those plants really perked up and came to life. And that's actually what ended up prompting us to start thinking about testing our soil. So even the hops are starting to pop pretty well. I always seem to struggle with Cascade. In case you guys don't know, I used to be a pretty big die-hard home brewer, do a lot of competitions. I'd brew multiple times a week. but priorities have changed actually around the time my daughter's been born, so I haven't really brewed as much, but these have kind of been my hops for my fall time brews. Usually I'll brew up a couple batches in the fall for the winter months or something. So one last little update here real quick. The garden, back to eating stuff. You know, several videos we started getting that process. Only got about 1/3 of this one garden filled, but I have to admit I'm really starting to fall in love with it. It's we've had to do no weeding at all in that area, which has been fantastic. I know some of you guys saw that we were getting this new garden expanded. This used to be our ice rink. We had the berms pushed in to get everything flattened out. Then we had manure tilled in. And then the weeds started taking over again way before we could even get planted. So we had to have it get tilled in again. And the same with the back end of our normal, our garden that we've had for many years here. So we've had to work that soil, I think, twice in both these gardens. And every time you do that, you lose some of those microorganisms, whatever you call it, the good stuff in the soil. Which is actually, you know, the reason why a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but farmers are starting to move towards a no-till type planting because, I mean, that soil holds that nutrition. So anyways, the chips have been going, I mean, right now we're all in. It's just a matter of getting chips in here. We're supposed to have something lined up this summer. They're doing some work on some power lines out here. They promised to be dumping off several truckloads. We'll see if that really happens. I'm not going to hold my breath because we've heard that before. So we're going to continue to keep searching. I'm guessing things will start dying down with other people looking for chips as well, and maybe we can get on some of those. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to slowly whittle away with our chipper, which has been a pretty slow moving process here. So anyways, just thought to give you guys kind of a quick update and what's going on. Obviously, we still got plenty more work, a lot more stuff to still get in, but we're getting a start. We're all in right now. And we'll see how it goes from here. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.